Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Roman Reigns is currently feuding with Solo Sikoa's bloodline on WWE SmackDown. While it seems like the original tribal chief has his eyes on the group's leader, a WWE analyst believes another member poses a physical threat to Reigns. The superstar in question is none other than Jacob Fatu. The 32-year-old avoided a confrontation with Reigns at SummerSlam after seemingly injuring himself outside the ring. He was also absent from SmackDown last Friday when the original tribal chief destroyed Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, forcing Sikoa to retreat. While addressing the SmackDown segment on his Not Sam Wrestling podcast, analyst Sam Roberts claimed the endgame of this storyline would be Reigns and Fatu going head-to-head. The 40-year-old claimed the enforcer of Sikoa's bloodline is the only one who poses a physical threat to the head of the table, so, ultimately, from a physical perspective, the only person who's a threat to Roman Reigns is Jacob Fatu. However, there are bodies that Roman has to get through before he gets there. And I think this is what we're witnessing, he said. From 29:07 to 29:22, Konnan thinks Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu in WWE would be huge on the Keepin' It 100 podcast. Wrestling veteran Konnan also discussed the possibility of having Roman Reigns go one-on-one against Jacob Fatu. The WCW legend welcomed the idea, claiming the match would be huge. However, he pointed out that WWE must continue to book Fatu as a monster before he squares off against the original tribal chief. It'll be huge. Bro, they built Jacob Fatu to be a monster. I think Fatu, if they keep booking him like this, him and Roman's gonna be money, he said. Umaga's son, Zilla Fatu, recently claimed Jacob Fatu was the most dangerous among all Samoan wrestlers. It would be interesting to see if he will truly be a threat to Roman Reigns. The WWE Universe had been buzzing with excitement and anticipation ever since Roman Reigns solidified his status as the undisputed face of the company. With an unprecedented title reign and a seemingly unbreakable alliance with his bloodline, Roman had become the epitome of dominance in professional wrestling. However, as his reign continued, whispers began to circulate within the wrestling community that there might be someone lurking in the shadows who could pose a legitimate threat to the tribal chief's supremacy. But according to one analyst, this threat wasn't coming from within the bloodline, it was from an unexpected source. The analyst, whose insights had often proven to be uncannily accurate, set the wrestling world ablaze when he made a bold statement during a recent appearance on a popular wrestling podcast. He claimed that only one WWE star posed a physical threat to Roman Reigns, and surprisingly, it wasn't the Samoan powerhouse Solo Sikoa, whom many believed would be the most logical contender to challenge Roman's dominance. I know everyone's talking about Solo Sikoa, the analyst began, his voice tinged with certainty. He's been positioned as this silent enforcer, a potential heir to the throne. But if you really pay attention to what's been happening, you'll realize that there's someone else who's been quietly biding their time, someone who can truly give Roman a run for his money. As the analyst spoke, fans and insiders alike were left to speculate. Who could this mysterious challenger be? Who in the WWE locker room had the physical prowess and the mental fortitude to stand toe-to-toe with Roman Reigns, a man who had conquered the likes of Brock Lesnar, Edge, and John Cena? The answer, according to the analyst, was Gunther, the Austrian-born leader of Imperium and the reigning WWE Intercontinental Champion. Gunther, formerly known as Walter, had made a name for himself as one of the most physically imposing and technically gifted wrestlers in the world. His brutal strikes, unmatched endurance, and unwavering discipline had earned him the moniker of the Ring General, a title that he wore with pride. Gunther is the one guy who can physically challenge Roman Reigns in a way that no one else can, the analyst explained. He's got the size, the strength, and the experience to match Roman in the ring. But more importantly, Gunther has a level of discipline and focus that few others possess. Roman has been able to get into the heads of his opponents, but I don't think he could do that with Gunther. The man is an absolute machine. As the analyst's words began to sink in, fans started to envision what a clash between Roman Reigns and Gunther might look like. It would undoubtedly be a battle of epic proportions, a collision between two of the most dominant forces in professional wrestling today. The mere thought of it sent shivers down the spines of WWE fans around the world. In the weeks that followed, the possibility of a Roman Reigns versus Gunther matchup became a hot topic of discussion within the WWE universe. Social media was flooded with fan theories and fantasy bookings, all speculating on how the two titans would fare against each other. Even WWE commentators and backstage personnel couldn't resist weighing in on the potential showdown. Meanwhile, Roman Reigns continued to dominate the SmackDown brand, dispatching challengers with his trademark blend of power and cunning. But as the weeks went by, he couldn't help but notice the growing buzz surrounding Gunther. The tribal chief was well aware of the rumors, and while he publicly dismissed them, privately, he began to consider the implications of facing someone like Gunther. Unlike many of Roman's previous opponents, Gunther wasn't motivated by personal vendettas or the desire for fame. He was a purist, a wrestler's wrestler, who sought to prove his superiority through sheer skill and physical dominance. In many ways, he represented a mirror image of Roman, a man who had also ascended to the top through a combination of talent, intelligence, and ruthlessness. As the tension between the two superstars simmered, the WWE Universe waited with bated breath for the inevitable confrontation. And then, on a fateful night in September, the moment finally arrived. It was the main event of SmackDown, and Roman Reigns had just finished a successful title defense against a formidable challenger. As he stood in the center of the ring, soaking in the adulation of his loyal followers, the familiar strains of Gunther's entrance music echoed through the arena. The crowd erupted in a mixture of cheers and gasps as the Intercontinental Champion made his way to the ring, flanked by his Imperium stablemates. Gunther's presence was commanding, his eyes locked onto Roman with an intensity that left no doubt about his intentions. The ring general was here to make a statement, and he wasn't going to wait for an invitation. Roman, never one to back down from a challenge, met Gunther's gaze with a steely resolve. The tension in the arena was palpable as the two men stood face to face, neither willing to give an inch. The crowd's chants grew louder as they realized they were witnessing the beginning of something monumental. Without a word, Gunther raised the Intercontinental Championship, holding it high above his head as a sign of respect and a challenge. Roman's eyes flicked to the title before returning to Gunther's face, a small smirk playing on his lips. The tribal chief's expression was one of both amusement and recognition. He knew that Gunther was no ordinary opponent. The stare-down was interrupted by Paul Heyman, who cautiously stepped between the two men, attempting to defuse the situation. But it was clear that the seeds had been planted. The WWE Universe knew that it was only a matter of time before Roman Reigns and Gunther would collide in a battle for supremacy. As SmackDown went off the air, the image of Roman and Gunther standing in the ring, locked in a silent confrontation, lingered in the minds of fans everywhere. The anticipation for their eventual clash had reached a fever pitch, and the wrestling world was left wondering who would emerge victorious when these two forces of nature finally met in the squared circle. One thing was certain, the WWE landscape was about to change forever, and only time would tell whether Roman Reigns' reign would continue or if the ring general would seize the throne.